G'day, Dael here and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're diving into the world of bread making, but with a twist. We're going to create a beautiful crusty white loaf without any kneading. That's right, no kneading. This super lazy recipe is perfect for anyone who loves fresh bread, but doesn't have the time or energy for traditional methods. So let's get started. For the standard recipe, we'll need all-purpose flour, salt, and instant yeast. First, we'll combine our dry ingredients. If you're using bread flour, you'll need to add a bit more water for better hydration. Mix these well in a large bowl. Now for the warm water. We're aiming for a temperature between 40 and 46 degrees Celsius. The temperature does not need to be exact, but it needs to be warm without being uncomfortably hot. This helps activate the yeast and develop the gluten. We'll use a bassinage-like technique, adding the water slowly and mixing until everything is fully combined. This method helps create a smooth, hydrated dough without needing to knead. Once the dough is mixed, we'll transfer it to a lidded bucket or cover the bowl tightly. This is where the magic happens. We'll let it rise on the bench for about 2 hours, but this step can be skipped if you want to go straight to the fridge. As you can see, the dough is quite sticky. Next, we'll move the dough to the refrigerator for a minimum of 2 hours, or even up to 7 days for a tangy, cheat sourdough flavour. This slow cold fermentation is crucial for developing the complex flavours and airy texture of our bread. When you're ready to bake, you have two options. You can lightly grease a loaf pan and let the dough rise in there until it reaches room temperature, or you can lightly flour your bench and shape the dough into a round or log loaf. Place it on a baking paper lined tray, cover it and let it proof for about an hour. Today we're creating a loaf using a greased and lightly semolina dusted pan. Preheat your oven to 230 degrees Celsius, or 210 degrees Celsius if you're using a fan-forced oven. If you have a baking stone, preheat that as well. Place an extra tray on the lowest shelf of your oven. This is for steam. Once the dough has risen slightly, lightly brush it with milk for a darker crust, or water for a lighter crust. If you like, you can even slash the top of the bread for a beautiful design. Carefully place the bread in the oven and pour a cup of hot water onto that extra tray to create the steam. Immediately close the oven door. Bake for 30 to 35 minutes or until the crust is a deep golden brown. To make sure your bread is done, you can tap on the bottom. It should sound hollow. Or you can use the thermometer to check the internal temperature. It should be above 87 degrees Celsius. And there you have it, a beautiful crusty white loaf, made with no kneading required. Enjoy it warm with butter or use it for your favourite sandwiches. At the end of this video, you can see a better example of the bassinage-like initial mixing of the dough, as well as an example of stretch and fold, which can help improve the crust and rise of the bread. I did this every 30 to 45 minutes and look at the results. Alright everyone, now for a key step in achieving that incredible texture in our no-knead bread, a technique inspired by bassinage. You might have heard of it in the context of sourdough, but we're adapting it here to build a beautifully hydrated and strong dough without any intense kneading. We've created a well in the center of our flour. This allows us to introduce the liquid gradually, which is crucial for several reasons. We'll start by adding just a portion of our total liquid into this well. Now gently begin to stir the liquid into the surrounding flour. We're not trying to form a complete dough just yet. What we are doing is starting the hydration process and allowing the flour to absorb this initial moisture. This early hydration kickstarts the development of gluten, the protein network that gives our bread its structure and that wonderful chew. You'll see a thick shaggy mass starting to form. This is the gluten beginning to develop as the water interacts with the flour proteins. This slow and steady approach ensures that every bit of flour gets its chance to hydrate properly, as it absorbs the moisture more effectively this way. We'll continue this process until it's all incorporated. What will end up is a very well hydrated dough. It might look a little loose and shaggy, and that's exactly what we want. Now that all the liquid is incorporated, we're going to cover the bowl and let it rest for 15 minutes. This is a crucial step called autolyse, or in our case, a short hydration rest. During this time, the flour will fully absorb the water, and the gluten development that we started with our staged liquid addition will continue passively. After our 15-minute rest, you can see how the dough has relaxed and become more cohesive. Now we'll move on to our pull and stretch technique. To prevent this very hydrated dough from sticking to our hands, we're going to lightly wet our hands with water. We'll then gently grab a portion of dough, lift it up, stretch it upwards before folding it back over the center of the dough. We'll repeat this several times around the bowl. This pull and stretch technique is our gentle way of building strength in this no-knead dough. By stretching and folding, we're further aligning those gluten strands that we started developing with our staged liquid addition. This creates the structure and elasticity needed for the beautiful rise and that signature chewy texture. Because the dough is so well hydrated thanks to our initial technique, it's very extensible and responds well to these gentle manipulations. So you can see how that initial gradual addition of liquid, almost a bassinage in spirit, sets the stage for a beautifully hydrated dough that develops incredible strength and texture with just little resting and these simple pull and stretches. It's all about understanding how water interacts with flour and using these techniques to our advantage. Thanks for watching.